Some 3 years ago, Final Fantasy XIV tried to happen. It tried, and you may remember that it kind of fell on its face to the point where Square was giving away subscription time for free to those stalwart souls who braved that tumultuous era. And then they broke the world, dropped a moon on it, wrecked everything, took the entire game down for a period of about 9 months, during which they more or less rebuilt the entire thing, and added that PS3 support they talked about however long ago. That's all I'm going to say about the troubles of version 1.0, as I wasn't actually there, but I'm here in Eorzea now, have been for several days, on a Japanese server, thus sidestepping the much publicized connection woes others have faced, and I can say, I don't want to go home. I like it here, and it's not just because I'm rocking it Red 13 style. So after the world got more or less ruined 5 years, read 9 months ago, involving blowing up a moon and Bahamut going on a tear like he never got to in Chains of Promethea, life has kinda returned to normal in Eorzea, for some definition of normal. The three nations are friendly toward each other, but fear uprisings from the beast tribes scattered throughout the lands, as well as the Garlean Imperial forces who mill about on the periphery, with their Magitech weaponry and their gunblades and other elements pulled from Final Fantasy's past. But that's some high-level stuff. First and foremost, you gotta get your feet wet by learning your starting class, which also determines what chunk of the world you arrive in after creation, by ruthlessly and violently slaughtering the innocent wildlife outside the city gates, as is standard. Fortunately, the game lends itself to giving you heaps and piles of EXP if you're willing to do a bit of legwork, be it for a quest or filling out the hunting log that gives massive experience bonuses for tracking down and slaughtering specific species of monsters. Generally speaking, much of the content in Final Fantasy XIV is designed to get you out and exploring, rather than cooped up in parties like 11's early days. And with a world this pretty, that's a good thing. The interface for this PS3 version is designed to be as intuitive as possible, with most of your commands, attacks, and menus available from a customizable system of hotbars accessed by holding L2 or R2 and pressing a face button. Playing through 11's PS2 and 360 versions, I could never imagine making those work without a keyboard, but I can only think of 2 occasions where I've had to type something outside of the PS3's standard text entry window. And even then, that's just because I had the keyboard hooked up at the time. Perhaps it's because so much of the content is solo-friendly, even for your squishier classes like mages and lancers and whatnot. Larger scale battles in the field called Fates, for full-time active event, but it might as well mean frantic ad hoc team excitement, pit everyone in the general vicinity against waves upon waves of monsters, or just one really freaking big one, for mutual benefit and piles of EXP. You really only need parties for the instanced raids that pop up later in the storyline, and even then you don't have to sit and shout for a party and hope there's someone who speaks your language and has the job you need. By activating the duty finder and selecting the raids you're interested in joining, you enter a queue to be matched up with teammates once the right combination of roles is figured out. Once your number's up, you can jump right into the mission from any point in the world, and once it's over, you wind up right back where you were. Immersion breaking? Just a bit. Convenient? Hells yes. One of Final Fantasy XIV version 1.0's selling points was a new take on the classic Final Fantasy job system, where simply changing one's weapon changed one's class, and level for that matter. This system returns bolstered by a gear set system that allows you to change all of your clothes and your class in just a couple button presses, and an armory chest that allows you to hold 25 items per gear slot and hammer space outside your actual inventory. As in the original version, each crafting and harvesting discipline from armorer to miner to alchemist is considered its own class, with EXP progression, a guild, and optional bonus missions called guild leaves just like any of those monster killing classes. You'll notice I haven't had much to say against this game, and that's because, well, I haven't had any issues, really. Sure, the servers are a bit congested, which can affect large-scale events, and once I've played for some 10 hours at a shot, the sound goes all wonky and then completely dies. That's about it. Pretty much everything I've laid my hands on has worked well, the storyline's engaging, especially by MMORPG standards, and, well, there's a hell of a lot of content here. So I'm going to come back a bit later and fill in some of the holes in Part 2, once I've fiddled with the materia system, and continued to train, level divisible by 4 the all-purpose combat chocobo, and put some more levels into fishing, and improved my maelstrom rank, and